Welcome back to my backyard. Today I'm showing my true colors. We are Broncos. I am an avid Broncos fan, have been for almost my entire life. I spent a large part of my childhood growing up in the mountains of Colorado, and so all my family members were Broncos fans, and I became a Broncos fan too, of course, and have supported them ever since way back in the 70s. So I'm not one of those fly-by-night fans. I'm, good, bad, or evil, doesn't matter. I'm Broncos through and through. So anyways, I'm going to show my true colors today. I have a small project I'm going to start with today. I don't know if it'll all make it in the same video, but I just have a whole bunch of little projects that have been screaming for my attention. So we're supposed to have really nice weather this weekend, up in the 80s here in North Carolina. It is Saturday, March 28th today, and so I think I'm just going to take today and try to do some of these small projects I need to get done. And what I'm going to start with, I'm going to show you here in just a second, so let me come back behind the camera. So here's the project I'm starting with today. Those wheels that you see there are from an old lawnmower I used to have, and the frame rusted out. It was beyond repair, so I pulled the wheels off thinking, hey, one day I might be able to get use out of these wheels. That was 5 years ago, I think. 4 or 5 years ago I pulled those wheels off. And so now I finally have a purpose for them. What I'm doing is I'm making a couple of two-wheel carts that I can set the logs on that are in my backyard and use these little carts to help roll and move these logs to my wood store. Because I got to figure out a way to get them back there. This might be the way to do that. So we'll try it. It's trial and error. These things might fall apart the first time I try to use them. Who knows? This isn't by any specific design. This is just an idea I had in my head, and using materials that I already have existing around my house. And so we'll put these things together and see if they work. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, I'm starting with this piece of wood I found in my garage. It's about the right length I want. I'm not even sure what the length is. I have to put my tape measure on it to see. But it should be wide enough to set any of the logs I have back there on. I got to mount the wheels on the side, so this is the main piece. So what I'm going to do, I have these 6x6 blocks, and this will mount onto a 6x6 block like this. A wheel will actually attach to the side right here using these nails that I have. These are about 7 or 8 inches long, and I will drive that through the wheel. It will work as my axle, right? And that'll hold the wheel on. And then what I'm going to do is I have these little carriage bolts, not carriage bolts, but these little bolts right here. I'm going to drill some holes through here so that when this bolt goes in here, it'll be inset, and the hole through this board will be larger than the bolt, so that this board has free range to move like this. And then it will actually bolt down into the top of these blocks, so that what I end up having is these blocks are able to turn and rotate, and that'll give me steering. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the back set of wheels. These will be my back wheels. The large wheels will be my front wheels, because I have rocks, tree stumps, thick mulch, things like that I've got to go through, and I want these to be able to drive through all of that thick mulch and everything. I thought the bigger wheels would be better for that. Again, I don't know what weight these are hold. The log, first time I put the logs on, these little plastic wheels will probably shatter or something. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But it'll be fun trying. Maybe I'll get some use out of it. So let's take a look and see. "25.5 inches. Just have to think about when these things swing, I don't want them rubbing on the wheel. So I have to inset them a little bit. There we go. About 5 inches, so if I come back 3, 2.5 inches is center, 1 3/4 inches. That X marks my drill hole. Do the same thing on the other side. What did I say, 2.5? Inch and 3/4. All right. I have got a 3/8 drill bit here. And if I remember correctly, that is big enough. These bolts should be able to fit down in that hole once I drill these. Fits right in there. So this should be able to spin. Notice it doesn't go all the way through. So I need to put another hole on top of that, going about halfway down, using my 1-inch drill bit. I wish I had a shorter drill bit. That's the shortest one I have though. So I will pull out a corded drill to get the power I need to be able to use this drill bit. Alright. So now it sticks through the bottom. I know I'll be able to screw that into this block. And with that 1-inch hole there, my ratchet should be able to get in there to be able to ratchet that thing down. I'm going to take something, try to clean this hole up a little bit. Give me just a second. What I'm using this for, it doesn't have to be pretty. It only has to be functional. There's the hole I drilled. Goes all the way through. That should work just fine for what I'm trying to do. Let's do the other side. Alright, there's my second hole. Got this other piece of wood from a pallet I'm going to use for the back side. Just want to make sure they're the same length. So I just need to cut that off here. Can't use this board anymore. Let's see if I can get this on film. You can see that there. The board just split right here. It split from here all the way down to here. That's a pretty big split. Find something else. Alright, take two. Let's see if we can do this again. I cut a new board to length and already pre-drilled the first hole. Now we just got to make the bigger ones. Alright, I like that. Let's do the other side. Alright. I hope that's good enough, because I really hate using that drill if I can help it. I went on Milwaukee's website to see if I could just buy the handle attachment by itself. No, buy a whole new drill or nothing. Those are your options. Alright, let's clean this up. don't get me wrong, Milwaukee's a good brand. I have definitely put this drill through its paces over the years. I bought it back when I used to have my own construction company. Did home improvement. And I've drilled concrete with it. It's actually why I bought it originally. It's a hammer drill. It has on the top here, you do the drill option or flick that switch over and do the hammer option. Definitely would not use the hammer option without the extra handle. That helps in drilling through concrete and stuff. Alright, that is done. Step 2, I gotta mark my holes on these blocks for those bolts to screw down into, and then go ahead and attach them. So let's do that step now. I think I was about an inch from the side here. The question is, if I swing, is that tip going to stay away from the edge? And it looks like it will. So let me just find my center, see if that works. Oh, get my pencil. Here we go. So we have 6, so 3 inches, 5.5, so 2 3/4. That goes in my center mark. It's pretty close. I think I might actually move that back a little bit. So what I'm going to do now, this is a 1/4 inch drill bit. I just want to use it to create some pilot holes. So I'm going to come back about a 1/2 inch from that center mark. And just put a pilot hole there. So when I go to crank this in, see, it's not so big I can fit it in there, but it'll be enough that it will be able to bite into that and hold really well. So I think if I line that up, when it rotates, this corner is clear from the edge. It's not going to rub on the tire. That's what I want to make sure of. Alright, which means I need to be 3.5 inches from the edge. So we'll do the same thing over here. We will mark it 3.5 inches. Two 3/4, and go ahead and drill that. There we go. All right. Let's bolt this thing down. So let's just loosen it up by a couple turns here. That spins okay. Alright, next step. Gotta mount my wheels. And to do that, I'll drill some pilot holes. I'm just going to drive these nails right into the block. So again, let's find center. My grandfather had a farm. He kept some horses. He used to rebuild wagons and sell them. He also worked, sold fruit, things like that. And this was one of his old hammers. I beat up the handle pretty good, but this is one of the hammers my grandfather used. One of the few things I have to remember him by, so it's kind of nice to have this. All right. All right, let's do the other side. Alright, so there's the idea. Here's the idea. These wheels can turn as I need them to. This way like this. I keep it straight. Set that log on there. I'm starting to think this may not work. But if I can get that log up on here using my cant hooks, maybe I can get this thing to go where I want it to. I'm starting to think these wheels are going to turn in a direction I don't want, and at a time I don't want them to turn. So I'm going to have to rethink this. Alright, let me show you what I did. What I ended up doing on this one is tightening these lag bolts in a little bit tighter, then adding a couple long 3-inch screws on each side so that the blocks don't spin anymore independent. And then because this is top heavy and it automatically wants to fall down like that, I went ahead and latched another board on here with a couple screws. And then to be able to turn, I'm hoping, because the wheels turn independent, that when I put a log on here, or even on here like this, that the wheels will be able to turn. Then for the bottom one, because my 4x4s ended up splitting, I ended up just taking a little bit of that leftover 2x4 I had and just going ahead and screwing it on with a couple long bolts. I went ahead and put the lag bolts in because they're longer, stronger, might hold a little bit better. I drilled some holes in the ends, and this time I just used lag bolts to screw those on because I have a feeling this isn't going to be a very permanent structure. This one's already, like, I just fell off. I need a longer lag bolt, I think, for this side, but I might have one actually. But anyways, there's the back one, the back wheels. That's just to be able to drag the back along. I don't really care a whole lot about this. I debated on never using a back wheel set anyways, but we'll go ahead and give this a try and see how it works. So there we go. Okay, probably should have recorded putting this on. I was able to do it by myself. Front wheels seem to be holding up really well with those long nails in it. The back wheels, with the lag bolts I decided to try, squash. They popped right out. They didn't last at all. I wasn't sure they were going to anyways, so I'm going to try to pull that one out. Take a closer look at the damage. Okay, so it was the lag bolt that fell out.
had a small nail, one as big as the other ones, that I ended up using on the other side because I couldn't get that lag bolt to stay. And that one actually held up pretty good. I think I need that depth into the wood here for it to hold. So let me see if I can find another nail that I can replace this lag bolt with and see if that works a little bit better. Okay, I was able to find another nail, get a little more length into this wood to hold both these wheels on. I'm gonna lift this log up, put this back on, and see how it does. Come here, Joey. This is Joey. It's our neighbor's dog. As I told you, we have a gate between our properties. And we're not dog sitting. Then we just leave the gate open. Let our dog and their dog just roam back and forth. So you got to meet Joey. There we go. Just kind of figure out where it's going to come back down at. There we go. Just like that. I've got that log on wheels. The question is, moving it. I tried to push it earlier. It is full of sap and quite heavy. So I think if I set up my winch though, it should pull it along pretty easily. A lot easier than it would if I was just leaving it on the ground. Maybe I can direct it better now with the wheels. We'll see. That's as far as I'm going to get on this project today. It's time to move on to the next project. One last look before I go. Couple old lawnmower wheels, some scrap wood and nails, bolts, and I got a little cart for my logs now. Here's my next project. I grabbed some pallets nearby, had my son tear some of them apart, and now I got some scrap pallet wood. I need to come in and do some repairs along this little walk area that the dogs have tore up. Make it a little bit safer for people to walk across here. So I'm going to gather all my stuff, and then I'll get started on this project. Alright, I think I'm ready to get started. I got all my tools out here and set up. Got some extra wood, pallet wood, laid out over here ready to use. First thing I do is clean this up a little bit, take out some of the broken pieces, cut a few sections back, pull all the nails, fix a couple under support pieces, and then put it all back together. My middle support right here, that's where it's broken right there. Fingers all the way in there. It's completely broken. So I have to take all the nails out that are in that and then pull that board out and try and replace it. brush you see over here on the side over here. This is all from those trees that were felled in my yard. I took all the smaller branches and stuff and just filled in this area. The dogs love it back here. It gets so muddy and so soupy, and they dig holes in it and play in it and make a big old mess of themselves. So I filled it in with all this mulch, hoping to keep them out of it a little bit, give it a place to break down. And so anyways, let's go ahead and try to fit some pieces in here. I'm trying to decide if I want to take any more of these boards out or not before I start putting new pieces in. Specifically this area right here. Let's see if I can get my finger in here. So if you look at that spot right there, I could just cut that square and put a short little piece in there, but I think I might just take that whole entire section out and then replace it with another board. So let's go ahead and do that. Camera seemed to have cut out at some point. I'm not sure when. So just want to show you I got all this done. I'm just going to fashion this piece in the side over here. And then I am done all the way up to where that box of nails is located. This piece off of a pallet has a live edge. It's neat when you find that.
funky little piece there. Just thought I'd try something a little different to fill in that space. There it is. So this section right here is complete. Now we gotta move on to the next section. I think I did more damage than good trying to tear all them boards up. But damage is done now. It's time to put it all back together and make it right.
patches everything up for now. I'm sure I'll have to come back and do more later, but it's good and solid. I'm happy with it. Alright, just wanted to give you a close-up of what I did on this little deck area. That board you see on that far right side right there, that was a piece I pulled up from somewhere else, cut it to the length I needed, and replaced the piece that had broken out of there. And same thing's true. See if I can get in here. I need to zoom out a little bit. This little piece you see right here where my toe is, that was a piece I pulled up from somewhere else, cut to length, and replaced in there. Let's turn around. You can see the scrap wood and stuff I have left over. Stuff I didn't use, stuff I cut up throughout this little trail path here. See a nice new piece of wood right here. That piece is brand new. Also, the piece next to it right here, that is a replacement piece. The outside edge piece right here is new, as well as this funky cut piece right here, all the way up to the end there. And then all of this corner is new. So this little piece you see on the end, this piece, and this piece, all of that is new. And the support piece underneath right here, I had to replace that one. Then I replaced all three of these right here. So this board, little piece on the end, and then this piece right here is replaced. And then I had to come over here, and this support piece, which I forgot to cut that off, so I'll have to come back and do that. That support piece actually split down the middle. It was really weird, and then it broke in half. So all this sunk down, so I had to replace that. And then in tearing everything up to replace that under piece, I broke a bunch of other pieces. So I had to replace this piece on the end. Let's see, this little piece right here. This big long piece right here broke. I had to replace that. And then I just pulled these up and put them right back in. So this little piece here, this little piece here, this little piece on the end, I just pulled those up and then put them right back in. Then I had to replace this piece. It broke too. And over here on this side, this is a replacement piece that goes all the way up to that joint right there. That cracked. I just wasn't happy with it, so I cut it out and replaced it. I think this was a replacement piece right here too, and that was just an old piece I put back in right there. And then up here I had one more little piece. This piece you see right here actually used to run all the way full length to here. A dog broke it and tore it back to this point, so I just cut it square and then put that piece in right there. So that's it. The rest of it looks good. And go back this way. You can see as I walk along it, cleaned up nicely. Alright, here's another fun little project I have. Because I'm about to put some wood up on my wood store, I want to make sure this is solid and secure and can handle the weight. So I'm going to take this piece off the front. In order to do that, because I do have some stuff sitting on it right now, I'll take this board. This is my top board I use when I'm milling, and I'll temporarily tack it down to each of the logs so I can unscrew this one and pull it off. The reason I don't want to use this piece on the front is because it's got that live edge on it and it's rounded, and I need something square I can attach my little ramp boards to, and my horizontal boards that'll allow me to roll logs over onto my mill. And I'm going to use hangers for that. You'll see when I get to that point of the project. But for now, I got to pull this off It was just here temporarily anyways. I'll rip this down to the size I need it and I'll put it on the back. But first, I'm going to use this board right here as my front piece. So let me get started, set up doing all of that. Okay. I had some sawdust on here and another board sitting on top, and the maggots decided to make that home inside there, so they're freaking out and spreading out now. They should all go away soon. I think I'm gonna square this edge up before I put it on. Oh, this is, let's see if you can see it. Let me look at the camera. I just want you to see that edge. See if I can zoom it in here. There we go. Alright. So when I had to freehand cut that log, this is that rough edge I created. It's pretty bad, which is why I want to square that up. It's just really, really rough. So if I'm gonna put hangers and stuff on, I just want to have a square edge to work off of. So anyways, just want to show that to you. Let me move the camera back. All right, so let's square this edge up. Well, shoot. A little metal clip on the end, just the knot slipped off, and that sucks. Okay, let's try this another way. Let's see. I just need to make a loop here. There we go. I'll keep it from going back in there too. Move some chalk down on the line. That loop on that screw. I know why it pulled off. Something going on inside here. Sure what that was about. Chocolate in my hand. Okay. Alright, let's rip it. show you something else. I have been finding these little piles of pine needles, or pine cone flakes, I guess. There it is right there. I've been finding these little piles of pine cone flakes all over my yard. And these are from the squirrels. I think they're trying to tear up the pine cones, get to the pine nuts. So they take it to a little area and they start tearing it, chewing at it. I'm finding these little piles all over the yard. It's kind of cute. I don't mind squirrels so much. Chicken to the trees anyways. You get hard up for food. You should try some squirrel. It really, really does taste like gamey chicken. So, very delicious. Alright. Now I need to figure out how I need to rip down that other board and go ahead and mount it on the back side of these. And that should hold everything square and tight. Those logs shouldn't move when I start putting the weight of those other logs on top of them. So let's go ahead and do that. Raise it up a little bit high. That way when I'm rolling logs back, they tend to roll a little bit quick. I have a little bit of a brake here to stop them, slow them down so they don't roll off the back end. I don't know how much good it'll do. Depends on how fast the log's rolling, I think, but they shouldn't be rolling that fast, so just a little extra precaution, that's all. The bigger purpose of this is just offer stability with these logs so they don't move left and right off their pedestals there. The battery's about to die. This should do it. Okay. So these logs weren't exactly the same length. This one on the end was a little bit shorter. So I just put a block in there to fur that out a little bit and make it easier to latch that board on. This is a very solid wood story. Next step's try and get those big old logs back here. That's going to be tough.